Hello. Okay, so far we have run the first part of the project one. That is, we have completed a potential model. And with the potential models, we have identified fast food supply oases and deserts. Now, with a fast food supply desert, we can evaluate which of the desert could be used as the potential sites for business expansion. So specifically, we're going to choose two pairs of new sites to evaluate which pair would be better to serve at the location of a new branch locations. Okay, so here on the screen you can see that here is our the raster map div, and the right sides are the locations where you see the food supply desert. Let's first identify 3 points. Okay, so now I have this. This is a supply point point file, point shape file. Now I'm gonna click this toggle editing to make this file to be active, so that we can select 3 points on this file to put the 3 points on this file. Now let's zoom in so that we can select the location more accurately to choose the location exactly at the place where we have this deepest supply deficit. Okay, after zoom in a little bit more, and you go to choose add point feature. So add point feature right here. Then you just click one of the points that you have the highest, the deepest fast food supply desert. The color is the deepest, okay, darkest color. So then this after you click that spot, a window pop up to ask you for this new location, what should be his ID. So let's type this ID, type it 101, and type it 101 to give a very large value, so that this new location's ID value will be very different from those existing supply location value. And okay, so that point is there. So now let's move on to find a different supply desert. We'll move on here. Okay, move on here. Then okay, starts. Then we choose toggle editing. So we'll choose add the point feature. We click this point, and now the window pop up again. We type 102. The ID is 102. And let's zoom out again. Okay, we're gonna select third point. Okay, zoom in a little bit, and then we go to select again. We click add point feature. We choose this spot, so that is the third spot. We type ID 103. Okay. So now we can click the toggle editing, and then we save this new change. So this our supply point file now contains 3 new points. Now let's select the supply points, go to layer, save as. We saved this as a new file. We call it supply point 112. Call to supply point 12. Okay. Supply point 12, and save, and add to this canvas here. So now we have this supply point 12. On this supply point 12, we have 3 new points. So now let's going to delete 1 point, and only 2 new points left. Okay, let's just again we select supply points. We go to click toggle editing to make the supply point 12 active. After this file is active, you make sure you go to select feature by single click. Okay, so you go to look for this point. Okay, This point looks like this supply point 103. You click it, and now it's turned to yellow. So that point is select. Now you go to select this delete selected button, and you delete that. After delete that, you save it. You go to click toggle editing and save it. Okay, so now the supply point 1, 2 has only 2 new points left. Then let's just uncheck that. We go to recheck supply points again. The supply point this file now still has the 3 new points. So now let's go to select supply point and go to layer, save as. Okay, then we save the supply point as 1, 3. Okay, supply point 1 supply point, save that as supply point 1, 3. Okay, and add to the canvas. Okay, so now let's just select supply point 1, 3. Supply point 1, 3. As you can see, there are 3 new points. Now let's go to choose. We're going to delete the new point 102. Okay, so now let's select supply point 1, 3 and click toggle editing to make this layer active. And let's choose again. We choose select features. Now we choose select the new point 102 and delete that. Okay. After that, we click toggle editing and to save the change. So now we have 2 new files here. Okay. We have a supply point 1, 2, which have 2 new points, 101 and 102. Also, we have a supply point 1, 3 that has new point 101 and 103. Okay, this is what we want. So we generate the 2 supply files, 1, 2 and 1, 3, so that we can compare which pair of a new size give us a higher market sale. So that's the point. Okay, so now we're going to generate a new supply demand distance matrix. Okay, now let's go do it. So let's first let's use 1, 2. Okay, supply point 1, 2. Supply point 1, 2 also demand points. Okay, demand points. Let's go find demand points. Demand points right here. Okay, so we have a demand points and supply points. Also, we need the road points. So now we do not need this raster map anymore. Let's turn it off. Turn it off. Okay. So we have a supply point. We have a demand. We have supply point 1, 2, and demand point. Also, we need to bring up the road layer. Okay. Major roads. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that we bring the correct roads. Okay, this is a road file. Okay, this is better. Okay, this road file. This road file, and also make sure that for demand point have the correct ID. So we need to let's going to take a look at the demand point. So we should have data. Also, we should have the code. Okay. So now we are ready. Okay, so now let's go to generate the distance matrix. Okay, we'll go to QGIS network. Okay, and distance matrix. For distance matrix, we need matrix from layer as table M and N. Okay. So we use the road as a network layer, so the major road. Then for demand point is from point layer. Then we use code as unique point ID field. Okay. Then for 2-point layer, we choose supply point 12. Okay. Supply point 12. Then we use ID as a unique point ID field. And for optimization criteria, we choose the shortest path. And we run. Okay. So we run until it finished. Okay, it's finished. So let's go to take a look at this matrix here. So this looks like output OD matrix. Okay, let's take a look, open it, take a look at inside. So we have this origin ID and with 1 through 60, and the destination ID. You see that some of the new points had been incorporated. You have 101, 102. Okay, let's see whether we have enough points. Okay, with 60 origin and 23 destinations, you should have 1,380 point edge lists, and therefore we have 1,380. So that's correct. So that's the correct number of edges. So now let's export this output OD matrix. Select it, go to layer, save as. We save that as a comma separated value CSV file, and go to the directory, save that as edge list 12. Okay, edge list 12. Okay, and save. And okay. Okay. So now we can get rid of the old output OD matrix, so we don't confuse ourselves. Okay. Remove actual. So we're going to do the same thing to supply point 13. Okay. Now everything else the same. We see same road system, same demand point, and also we use a code as unique ID. Now we just change from supply point 12 to supply point 13 as a two a 2-point layer. Okay. And again we use ID as the unique ID field, and then we run. Okay. After we run this, I can take a look at this OD matrix here. We select and open the table and take a look at. Again, we can see that the origin ID is run from 1 through 60, destination ID run from. You can see that the new point 101 and 102 and 103 are incorporated. So it looks correct. So let's look at whether we have enough edges. So we have 1,380 edges. So that is correct. So now we can just save this. We can select output OD matrix, go to layer, save as, and again we save that as a CSV, and we save that as edge list 13. Okay, and okay. So now we complete this part. We'll complete this part. We're ready to go to Excel to process this edge list. Let's go to Excel to process. Now let's delete this original matrix so that we don't confuse ourselves. Now let's go to open edge list to process them in Excel. Okay, so open edge list 1, 2. Okay, so it also asks me one. I mean, read only. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so we have we have all this. Okay, so we have correct number of edges. So we just delete entries cost, network cost, and exit cost, leaving only origin ID, destination ID, and total cost. Okay, and delete all other 3 columns, and we change total cost as weight. Okay, then we're gonna resave that. Resave this as okay. Won't let me to save this as a in the original name. So let's save that as edge list 1, 2 new. Okay, edge list 1, 2 new. Again as a CSV file. Now let's go do the same thing to edge list 1, 3. Open it. Yeah, it's read only. So it's the correct number of edges. And also we have the new supply point incorporated. We delete entry cost, network cost, and exit cost. Okay, let's delete, and we'll only have origin ID, destination ID, and total cost left. Change total cost to weight. Okay, then we save this as a CSV file. We'll call it edge list 1, 3 new. Okay, yep, now ready. So now we're finished this step. Now we move on to R. In R, we're going to change the edge list into matrix.